Why is Madame Bovary considered one of the most rewarding reads in the top 10 works of human literature? Today, let's read Madame Bovary together. Not as a book, but as a living, breathing tale of passion, illusion, and heartbreak. Our story centers on Emma, the only daughter of a wealthy farmer named Roll. At 13, she's sent to a convent for a refined, aristocratic education. There, she's swept away by a world of romantic novels and religious rituals, a dreamy haze where love feels like a sacred, forbidden adventure. An old noblewoman at the convent secretly shares novels filled with tales of illicit love between wives and noblewomen. Stories of knights like Paul and Virginie paint love as a majestic bird soaring through a rose-tinted paradise. This education shapes Emma's heart. She expects life to be a whirlwind of passion, a novel filled with dramatic twists and turns. Enter Charles Bovary, a simple country doctor who visits the Rowe household often to treat her father's broken leg. Emma, young and radiant, catches his eye. Charles's first wife, an older plain widow named Madame Dubuc, dies after her lies about her wealth unravel, clearing the path for Emma and Charles to marry. But the reality of marriage shatters Emma's dreams like fragile glass. She describes Charles's conversation as flat as a scarecrow, his ideas dull, unable to spark joy, laughter, or even a flicker of her dreams. He doesn't understand poetry, can't fence, and when Emma speaks in the romantic language of her novels, he's utterly lost. She tries to ignite passion by reciting poetry, but it's like striking a flint with no spark. Nothing catches fire. A turning point comes when Charles, after successfully treating a marquis, earns an invitation to a grand ball at the Vaubyessard estate. For Emma, it's a glimpse into the dazzling world of aristocracy. The Italian-style gardens, the chandelier-lit ballroom dripping with crystals, and a viscount in velvet who asks her to dance. It's everything she's ever fantasized about. She treasures the viscount's cigar case like a holy relic, and every time she opens it alone, the scent of tobacco and vanilla transports her back to that fleeting moment of magic. "I long to die, yet I yearn to live in Paris," she confesses. That ball cracks something deep within her, making the dull provincial life unbearable. Even after they move to the town of Yonville, Emma locks her ball gown away, clinging to that shimmering illusion of glory. In Yonville, Emma meets Léon, a young intern who shares her love for art and travel. They grow close, but Léon's timid nature keeps their connection in the realm of unspoken longing, a delicate dance of almost love. Then comes Rodolphe, a suave, 34-year-old landowner who knows exactly how to play the game. At an agricultural fair, he approaches Emma with a carefully crafted vulnerability, saying, "I'm like a desert traveler, thirsting for a true heart." He lures her into the woods under the pretense of teaching her to ride, and as their horses gallop, her heartbeat sinks with the thrill. When he suddenly embraces her, her resistance melts away like a whispered spell. In this affair, Emma mistakes desire for salvation. She begs Rodolphe to run away with her, even sewing a travel bag with her own hands. But Rodolphe, calculating and cold, promises her everything while planning his escape. He leaves her a tear-stained letter, claiming an elopement would taint her purity. Devastated, Emma falls gravely ill, her fevered mind haunted by visions of blackbirds tearing at her heart, while Charles, clueless, thinks she ate spoiled food. Years later, Emma reunites with Léon at the Rouen Theater. He's no longer the shy boy, but a polished law clerk. Using piano lessons as an excuse, Emma meets him weekly at a hotel. But Gustave Flaubert, the genius behind this story, masterfully shows how passion fades. The hotel's Persian rugs stay pristine, but Emma's eyes grow hollow, reflecting her emptying soul. To keep the spark alive, she buys lavish gifts from a cunning merchant named Leroux. Velvet cloaks, gold-tipped whips, expensive stationery. Leroux, like a shark smelling blood, traps her in a web of high-interest loans. When her debts spiral to 8,000 francs, he threatens to seize her home. Desperate, Emma begs Léon for help, even suggesting he embezzle funds. "You're asking me to commit a crime," he gasps. She turns to Rodolphe, who laughs coldly. "I don't have the money, my dear." In that moment, she sees herself in their eyes, a discarded trinket, nothing more. In despair, Emma breaks into the pharmacist Homais' lab and swallows an entire jar of arsenic. The poison burns through her throat ablaze, her nails clawing at the floor as black blood clouds her vision. Her death sets off a chain of tragedies. Charles, finding her love letters with Léon, collapses and later dies in their garden. Their daughter, Berthe, is sent to work as a child laborer in a factory. Rodolphe moves on to new conquests, while L'Heureux devours more families with his debts. Homais, ironically, earns a medal for his medical contributions. Flaubert's icy prose captures the final image. As nettles grow over the Bovary family's gravestone, the noon sun still glints off Homais' gilded pharmacy sign in Yonville. Flaubert poured his soul into this book. A friend once found him sobbing at his doorstep and asked what was wrong. "Madame Bovary is dead," he cried. His friend laughed. "You're the author, you can save her." But Flaubert replied, "She has to die. She can't go on living. No matter what, I can't change her fate." He blames Emma's tragedy on the poison of romantic literature and the convent's teachings, which fed her unrealistic dreams of love and luxury, leaving her unable to face the mundane reality of provincial life. The novel mocks her belief that a kiss would bring eternal bliss, only to leave her craving more. Her pursuit of an impossible beauty, like a rare plant needing perfect soil, withers in the harshness of reality. Literary critic Li Jian once said, "Stendhal is profound, Balzac is great, but Flaubert is perfect." Unlike Stendhal's Julian or Tolstoy's Anna, Emma's story hits closer to home, stirring a strange mix of pity and recognition. She represents a timeless group, people with enough privilege to dream, but not enough wisdom to ground those dreams. They've read just enough books to fuel their fantasies, but not enough to grasp reality. They live in their own worlds, fragile and sensitive. And Emma isn't the only Madame Bovary. The book subtly weaves in the stories of Charles's mother and his first wife, each trapped in their own illusions. Today, there are more Madame Bovarys than ever, men and women, regardless of wealth or education, who cloak their mediocrity in idealism and chase fantasies until they vanish. Loved unraveling Madame Bovary? Smash that. Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more epic stories. Stay hooked. Cool.